I am not donates $150. To quote Mario Andretti, if everything seems under control, you're not going fast enough. Money goes to don't wear the suit. We have a $20 anonymous donation. First time watching AGDQ, this is really cool and for a great cause. Matthew donates $150. I am terrible with messages. Here, just take my money. Thank you so much for your kind donation. And we're actually ready to go to an interview with Jay Hobbs and Tones Balones.
All right, thank you very much. I am joined here by the Splatoon 2 runner, rather.
Yes.
Too many twos in a row, you know?
Tones
Ballones. No.
Toons Balloons.
Tones Ballones, yes. Excellent run, man, first off. Congratulations, that was super cool to watch. And now I want to get right into asking some questions about it. And the first thing I want to ask really is, you ran Splatoon 1 as actually the opener, in the past. And so did you really do anything different in terms of like preparations and stuff, or did it feel very similar to the last time?
Right. Specifically for this run.
For this run, yeah.
It was very similar. I've always been comfortable doing these sorts of runs for the marathon. I love doing them, and it was just practice my mechanics and make sure I practice the stuff that is not going to be, or practice the stuff that's going to lose me the most time.
Right.
Yeah.
Of course. Cool. Well, I also want to ask you, what do you think, or I know that you probably went over the controls, right?
Yeah.
When you were, but let's reiterate for the folks at home who didn't see it, what control setup did you use? Because I know there's a big kind of, divide between the people who are like, oh, you got to have gyro controls, and others who don't.
Yeah, so my preference is using the Switch Pro controller with gyro controls. Okay. I think that they work wonderfully. It really translates, especially if you're a fan of keyboard and mouse as opposed to stick. Because you get a little bit more refinement, according to some people. I just grew to like it. I think you can be just as successful if you use stick controls, but Nintendo gave us the gift. You might as well take advantage of it, right?
Right. Yeah, that's pretty cool. Well, I guess the next thing I really wanted to get into was Splatoon isn't often known for its single player, right? Like both the Splatoon 1 and 2 are known about their multiplayer, both on the competitive side and the non-competitive side. So first off, do you play the multiplayer very much at all? And if so, do you think there's any kind of translation of skill that has gone one way or the other from speedrunning the campaign to the, does that help you out in the multiplayer, or does the multiplayer skill help you out in the story?
Right. So I do play multiplayer. I play a lot with my friends, and we will do league battles and play ranked modes and turf wars and stuff like that. And I will say, just by speedrunning in general, you do acquire skills that translate directly to multiplayer, such as getting a feel for the aim and learning the weapons better, and of course getting better movement, because people sleep on how important movement is online. People are like, I gotta have perfect aim, but you gotta have perfect movement too.
When it's all you're thinking about in the speed run, right?
Yeah,
like
exactly.
Yeah, really.
But part of having good movement in the speed run is also having good aim. So it all translates correctly. But I can definitely use more work in knowing objective control and all those other little intricacies that other people know
big of a
from
deal
doing
in the
it.
campaign.
Yeah, I'm just gonna slide around and aim at people,
All right, cool. Well, I want to jump into some social media questions now because we got quite a few responses. And the first one here, I'm actually going to combine the first two because a couple people asked some similar questions. And so from Oasis the Dingo, I'm probably pronouncing that wrong, I'm sorry. They ask, what do you feel are the core differences between Splatoon and Splatoon 2 in regards to tech? And I'm going to combine that with, what is your favorite change that Nintendo made between the two?
So the differences between tech has to be the fact that there's more weapons. That has to be it, right? Because in Splatoon 1, you only used the hero shot. It was only the splatter shot, nothing else. You didn't get any upgrades, none of that. In Splatoon 2, you have to learn 9 weapons. You have to learn the charger. You have to learn the roller. You have to learn the slosher. Every single weapon you have to use in the speedrun, you have to be proficient with it. Wow. So learning all of that tech, it's literally 9 times harder, right? You have 9 more weapons. So that's the biggest change. And also, combining it to the other question, my favorite. I feel like Splatoon got optimized too quickly for its own good You know,
Really?
I felt like I was just grinding it out, only saving a couple seconds per run. But in this game, you know, I still have so much more potential because it's longer and I have more skill to tighten up. There's so much more to the game that I'm going to spend more time on it because I want to push the time down more.
It's a little bit of a higher skill ceiling, at least at the moment, kind of.
Right. Yeah, it's higher skill ceiling and definitely a higher skill floor. Yeah,
Okay.
it's a lot harder of a run to get into, mainly because of its length and because of you know, changes to make the AI harder and stuff like that.
All right, cool. Well, we're going to keep that theme going with mechanics as we go into the next Twitter question here, which is from @ZDarlight1564. They ask, if you could make a change to one mechanic in Splatoon 2 to make the speed run better specifically, what would you change?
Don't make the boss fight RNG.
That's a pretty popular one, I would imagine.
That's really the only complaint I have about the game. You know, a minute is way too much.
As someone who lost a lot of time to boss RNG in my run,
I'd have to, you know what I'm talking
I'd have
about.
to agree with you on that one, man, for sure. All right, cool. Well, we got another question here from @VikingGamesLive, who asked, we know where you stand on Callie versus Marie, but what about Pearl versus Marina?
Pearl versus Marina, you know, I love the character design of Marina so much. Her background is interesting. It's something we've never seen before. We've never seen an Octarian be represented in the Splatoon lore at all in a positive light. But Pearl always has the good Splatfest choices. So I've never lost by choosing whatever Pearl's team was. So
Well, there you go.
yeah.
Proof is in the pudding, right?
Yeah.
All right, well, let's get into our final social media question right now, which comes from EJ Orengi. I probably, again, mispronounced that. I'm sorry. Who asked, what advice do you have for people who are wanting to get into the speed community for Splatoon? Any beginner's advice you provide? You touched on this a little bit. It's very hard to get into at the beginning. So
Right.
it
It is really hard to get into the beginning to, you know, get consistent, I guess. But it's really easy just to do. You already have the game. You already have single player available. You just jump in and start doing stuff. I would highly recommend that you start doing ILs first, because if you do ILs, you can submit it to the leaderboard. You don't have to have a capture card or any expensive equipment. You just have to submit the screenshot, which you can take via the Switch itself.
The capture
You can
mode.
just instantly capture it, and it's fine.
And just for people who don't know, ILs in this situation, we're talking about individual level,
Right.
you know, time attack.
Yeah,
basically.
because as I talked about in the run, the game has in-game timer, so
Excellent.
that's all you need. But as for, you know, if you want to join any speedrun community, it's always the same. You know, you just go in, you get familiarized with the people in the community, and
Ask the right question.
you ask the right questions. That's the most important part. You have to ask the right questions. You know,
Figure out
no one's gonna baby you over the small things.
Right.
You know, if you want to ask how the big things work, you gotta put in effort so that you know what to learn. You know, that's what you need.
Well, cool, man. Thanks for hanging out with me, Tones.
Absolutely.
Always a pleasure. Now, I do want to shift focus a little bit because it wouldn't be a GDQ interview without talking about prizes.
Prizes?
Where did you come from?
Don't worry about it. It's confusing back there.
All right. Anyways, welcome, Sent. What's up, man? How you doing?
That's great to be here, J-Hobbs. Really enjoying it.
All right. Well, I thought I was gonna have to talk about him, but you take it away. What do we got, Sent?
Always happy to do so. All right, so we got some really cool stuff here for you, J-Hobbs. So continuing on from the Splatoon 2 run we had. You know, Tones, I'm actually going to ask you a quick question.
Yeah.
You happen to know what this is?
Yeah, that is Ethan just talked about what that is. That is a promotional piece that is only given out to certain people in Europe.
Tones is a well-researched man, let me tell you guys.
Yeah.
So this is a Splatoon 2 vinyl, and it is incredibly rare. So far as I know, it was only given out to certain promotional outlets in Europe. I actually could not price this. I looked on Google, on Amazon, on eBay. As far as I know, no one has ever sold one of these things. It's just that rare and unique.
We gotta get you on the History Channel, man. Start like selling some stuff in a pawn shop or something. That's what you sound like right now. Carry on, please.
I will. So, you know, it's this beautiful vinyl disc. It's $25 for a chance to win it anytime between now and the end of inFAMOUS, the next run. So, I mean, hey, you guys should definitely get those donations in as soon as you can. This is honestly pretty much a one-of-a-kind thing. You are not going to find this anywhere else.
That looks amazing.
Oh, it's certainly pretty great.
All right, I do see something else, though.
Oh,
What do you got
yeah,
for me?
we definitely have something else pretty cool here. So, our good friends at Bethesda Softworks have donated a little Switch for us.
Hey, cool.
Yeah, that's pretty solid. It's a $35 minimum bid to enter between Infamous and the Skyrim run we'll be having a little later on. But, you know, it would be pretty boring if it was just a Switch, right, Jobs?
I mean, I think they're cool, but sure.
We can do better, let me assure you.
Okay.
I set those a little too far off camera.
But there, let's try it again. Prove it, okay? I want to see how you can do better.
There we go. So it's not just a Switch, it is a custom art Skyrim Switch. The Switch itself, as well as both Joy-Cons, feature custom Skyrim-themed art depicting the dragon, a Nord, and of course the scene of the them together. It's really beautiful.
Wow.
Incredibly grateful to Bethesda for donating that to us. Again, it's $35 from now until the end of the Skyrim run a little later this afternoon. They also donated a lovely Skyrim strategy guide along with some iron-on patches and dog tags, and I believe that is a $10 minimum donation during the Skyrim run later today. So definitely get your donations in for those. And as always, guys, remember, head over to gamesdonequick.com. You'll find all this information and more on the tracker on the page, and you'll be able to donate right there, too.
Well, excellent. Thanks a lot, Stent, for being here, as always.
Always
I'm
happy
sure
to
we'll
be
be
here,
seeing
Hobbs.
more from you in the for the rest of the marathon. And yeah, thanks, everybody. And we'll be kicking it over for the infamous First Light run, which I'm really excited for.
Hey guys, how you doing today? My name is Mizzlesticks. I'll be joining you here for the infamous First Light run. Gonna go ahead and read some donations off here.
Oh, but we caught you while you were still.
We got
We were just a little low.
we got $100 from Sasha Amethyst. Love watching these GDQs. I know it's early still, but as soon as I saw the donation incentive, I just had to donate towards making that Legend of Zelda: A Link to the Past randomizer run swordless. Who needs a sword anyways? Keep up the good work, guys, and shout outs to all the tech people behind the screen keeping these events running. Hype! Got $15 from Oh No, It's a Bear 23. I just want to see the Invisible Hornet fight in Hollow Knight. All right, we're going to go ahead and throw it over to EmeraldAly for infamous First Light. Take it away.
Hi. This is actually a very awkward point to have it be thrown over because I can't do any menuing until this cutscene ends. So I was practicing a little up until this point, but we have to just let this play for a minute before I can go back to the beginning of the game.
Unskippable cutscenes are the best.
Yeah. Some of the cutscenes in this game are skippable, not this one.
Well, just to let you know, I've got a donation from Zypher the Speedy, $10. Hey, Ali, good luck with your speed run. Hope you raise plenty for charity. Also, sorry for getting the murdered sole suspect world record before you. P.S. Shout out to Brandon and Lauren.
Thanks, Zypher. Yeah, I run that game with a controller. He runs it with mouse and keyboard, so he was always going to get that recce. But he found a bunch of cool strats for that run that lowered my PVU like 2 minutes. Okay, we almost have control of the character, and we can do some actual menuing and get back to the beginning of the game. It was either this or sit through the cutscene at the very beginning of the game, which is way longer. Yeah, all right, here we go. Now, this is why we have a save file at the beginning of the game. That, like, we can just load up this save file to reset runs and whatnot when you're doing your PB attempts. All right, so shall I count you in? All right, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go. Alrighty, this is Infamous First Light. Welcome to Seattle.
If it wasn't obvious by the Space Needle, then I don't know what else would be obvious.
Interestingly enough, Seattle is the airport I flew out of to get here. I live in a town just a bit north of Seattle. So the first thing you're going to notice is that the game is running in Italian. There's a reason for that. It's not for the lulz, the memes, or anything of that sort. There'll be a pretty good example of why we run in Italian in just a moment here. So if you don't know the inFAMOUS series, in inFAMOUS we play as conduits, people with the genetic ability to manipulate and weaponize matter. Our hero in this game is Fetch Walker. Her dominion is over neon gas, which also affords her super speed. Nice power to have in a speed run. Okay, that is incredibly rare. That there would be a cop right there. Wow. Wait, the strat there is to hide in that garage until this chopper gets bored of looking for you, but there was a cop right there. I can't remember the last time that's happened. I'm pretty sure it has. I'm not going to say, oh, that's never happened before. But I'm flying by the seat of my pants here. I don't know quite what to do right here. The objective here is to shake these cops, and if you leave a neon trail behind you, they know where to look. So that's why I'm not using super speed right now. Yeah, they still see me. Wow, this is pretty incredibly bad luck. I think I'm gonna go back to the garage now. They might not be there. Okay, this might work now. This is ordinarily where we'd be hiding for a lot less time than has already elapsed. This is one of these 999 out of 1,000 things, and wouldn't you know it? Yeah, I think we're okay now. All right, there we go. That's the phone call we need to hear. I cannot believe there was a cop right there. So that's our brother, Brent. We are fugitives on the run from the DUP, the government force who rounds up conduits. And we're trying to do one last score here in Seattle before heading off to live happily ever after. Spoiler alert, that doesn't happen. We're being sent to retrieve a red duffel bag from this penthouse apartment. There's an example of why Italian is faster. In the English voice acting, when you get to the door, that phone call between Fetch and Brent lasts another 2-3 seconds. And you can't enter the penthouse until the phone call ends. The game actually tells you to run up and punch these guys in the face. But if you do that, 2 extra guys will spawn behind you. So it's faster to take them out from range with bolts. It takes 3 bolts to kill each guy. Yeah, so we are already at least 30 seconds off the pace of a good run. But we'll manage, we'll manage. Yeah, Fetch made her debut as a non-playable supporting character in inFAMOUS Second Son, a somewhat better-known game, but I like this one a lot better. So that's a brief little tutorial to tell you to drain neon things to get your powers back when you run out of them. So now we're just running back to Brent to just leave town anyway, I guess. There's a cool little skip here that world record holder routed into the run because he does this in the 100% run, and he's the only one who's ever done the 100% run. I'll never run the 100% of this. You want to get back to your boat on the docks, but the fastest way to do that is to just run in the water here, which makes you respawn on dry land, but if you do it right there, you respawn on the docks, so you're super close to the boat. Yeah, we're close to a minute off the pace of a good run, but whatever. We'll make it happen. So we get here and we find that our boat has blowed up and our brother is missing. And his phone has been left behind as well. There's one little thing I want to introduce in just a moment here, and then I'll toss it to you for donations.
Quando sentivo di perdere il controllo, mi concentravo su Brent. Era l'unico modo per mantenere la calma. Aggrapparsi a un ricordo piacevole.
So we can actually skip this cutscene by quitting out to the home screen and reloading. The run right now is being done on a PS4 Pro with a solid-state drive. Even on a normal PS4 with a normal hard drive, this would be faster than watching the cutscene. I'll do various quitouts and save warps over the course of the run. They all would be faster on any PlayStation with one exception, which I will point out when we get to it. And you can see that's a cutscene skip. It doesn't seem like much of one, but it is a time save. And if you got any donations, this is a real good time.
Okay, yeah, I've got $10 here from Tsukiyomi. Sup, Ali? Your boy Yomi here, praying that the game finally decides to be kind.
So did you see what just happened?
So proud that you're running this here, and I know you'll kill it. Did you ever figure out your runner's choice? Money goes to that. Oh, I gotta go. Something really distracting just came into my field of view. You understand how it is. Bye.
There's a story behind that comment that I can tell when we get there.
And then I've also got $50 from Thedo. Just got a new job, so it's the best time I can think of to share the wealth. Please put the money to runner's choice.
Come sempre, in fondo. No, Miss Walker. Sei una superstite.
So there's 3 challenge arenas within Curtain K prison here. You can do them outside of the story as well, and they're sort of meant to be the game's replayability, I think. Although for me, speedrunning fits that niche pretty nicely. This is the first one. This is Alpha Arena.
Ognuno ha un punto debole. È sufficiente trovarlo.
Most runs end here if you're like grinding for a PB or a really good time, because the first 2 arenas are extremely RNG heavy.
Ma il mondo non aspetta nessuno e a volte bisogna agire rapidamente, seguire l'istinto.
Yeah, and you want to keep your focus from the first shots to the second ones so you don't dilate time on the second ones. Saves almost no time, but it's totally free. And I love the attention to detail the developers have here. You would never see this unless you specifically look for it. Fetch's mouth moves when she talks. But you would certainly, most of the time, just keep this camera view.
Non solo la tua, ma anche quella di chi non può difendersi. Forza, proteggilo.
So the object of Alpha Arena is to rescue 10 holographic hostages. The first 3 are always in the same place, so I can just run straight to them.
Le lancette corrono. Trova e salva l'ostaggio.
And those glowing points on the bodies of the enemies are the weak points. If I zap those, they should die in one hit. They don't always.
Altrimenti morirà di una morte atroce.
Atroce. Ah, that's not great. There's force menuing here. We can enter it before the game forces us to. This just tells us that, hey, these are the menus, and this is the upgrade screen, and isn't that nice? That's our first upgrade that we're required to buy, Photon Jump. Luckily, it's a very useful one.
Hai dimostrato una buona preparazione.
We do that to fool Augustine, that's the voice overhead, into thinking we had done the Photon Jump, which all that really does is make sure we get it at the earliest possible moment to satisfy the need for doing it. Now, I mentioned that this is extremely RNG heavy. You can manipulate it to a certain extent.
Manca ancora un ostaggio. Non vorrei condannarlo.
The enemies will never spawn directly behind you. They will always spawn in some sense in front of you, but it could be anywhere in the 180 degrees in front of you. And it could be up or down from where you are. We leave the first hostage uncollected because that makes further hostages and waves spawn in immediately. Otherwise, there would be a countdown timer. These are pretty decent spawns. And the key thing to hopefully getting a good alpha is to just never stop moving. Even if you don't know precisely where you're headed for the next hostage or wave, just don't stop moving. I was trying to get a photon jump there. It did not work. But that's still not too bad. Ooh. I wasn't supposed to collect him just yet. It should be fine. It doesn't have to be specifically the first one that you leave uncollected. Just leave somebody uncollected. These are actually really great spawns. I wish that business from the prologue hadn't happened now.
Yeah, this is the game apologizing for you to you.
Yeah. It has plenty to apologize for over the years, let me tell you. Oh. I thought they were up top. This spawn is just one. Yeah, this is not so good that the last hostage to spawn in is kind of far away from the one we left alive. Ideally, you'd like to collect one on your way to the other, but it's not really how that's going to work here. Even if more dudes spawn in here, when I collect the last hostage, they will despawn. So that was a pretty decent alpha.
La tua prova con gli ostaggi è stata, come dire, appena sufficiente. Registriamo tutti i punteggi e mostriamo i risultati degli altri.
Nothing to really do here.
Io sono sempre disponibile.
I guess the two handsome gentlemen on the couch behind me can introduce themselves.
Oh, yeah. Go ahead.
I'm killing Pepsi.
I'm initalics.
Thanks, guys. A little more force menuing here, and then we're taken back to Seattle. Yeah, we were like 55 seconds off a good pace. Now we're like 40 seconds off a good pace. So that was a decent alpha. Well, we're 40 seconds off an okay pace, we'll say that. Another unskippable cutscene if you have any donations.
Yeah, here we go. I got $150 from Lobos. Lobos says, "Hey, Ali, it's Lobos. Best of luck on the run. We're all proud of you."
Thanks.
Got Warrior of Mars with $50. Gotta donate for Infamous. Love every one of these games. Go fast and fight cancer. Take a quick moment here to remind you guys that we do have the Hollow Knight incentive coming up. If you want to see the Invisible Hornet fight, we are about 3/4 of the way there. Just got to hit the $5,000 mark to make that happen.
Yeah, Lobos is actually the first person I ever saw do a speedrun. So, you know, if I hadn't have clicked on one of his YouTube videos because he sort of looked like somebody I worked with at the time, I wouldn't be here. You know, even though he doesn't really do speedruns anymore, that's a community that means a whole lot to me, and it blows me away to hear from him during the run. Thank you so much, Lobos. And hi, Wolfpack. Hope some of you guys are watching. One thing that always entertained me about this cutscene, Fetch is asking the skeezy drug dealer Shane where to look for Brent. He says to look for the enemy gang, the Occurrence, to the east. You actually run to the west to start this mission.
I don't know if it's just me, but Shane kind of looks like Jake Gyllenhaal. Just kind of.
So this is a load warp. You're supposed to run to a big neon sign. And by load warping, you're taking 90% of the way there. And believe it or not, even on ordinary PS4 with an ordinary hard drive, it is... I can't remember exactly how much faster on an ordinary PS4, but it is faster than just running. Doesn't seem like it is, but things really deceive you how long they take, especially the cutscenes. Cutscene skips save a ridiculous amount of time. So this is a little tutorial, I guess you would call it, to introduce the neon lumens as your upgrade points. We get 3 more or less for free. So I'm going to try to do a spawn manipulation after collecting this 3rd one. The game wants me to spawn back on top of that water tower, and I think I got it. Yes, I did. Awesome. Spawn a lot closer with that manipulation. And what Fetch just said there, devo andare. If you remember Tsukuyomi's donation comment, when he said, oh, something really distracting just came into my field of view. You know how it is. Bye. Gotta go. That's what Fetch says in the English voice acting there. And in the Italian, she says 2 words. So that's another really good indication of where Italian is faster. A little more force menuing here to introduce the map and the side objectives on the map. I don't need to mash through it, but I always do. Coming up next here is a major run killer in PvP. At least it is for me. It probably isn't for Tsukuyomi. We're going to try to do a little challenge called Triple Takedown here. And I am so not going to get it. You have to kill 3 Occurrens with their weak points within 1 focus. It awards 3 lumens, and we would have gotten our... I got it? Wow. I cannot believe I got it. I'm very surprised that counted. So we buy our first upgrade, which is air dash. And air dashing is very important. And I think I made the train cycle too. You have to be really fast to get this train cycle. The train moves faster than Fetch does. So if you can ride the train, the monorail, it's faster than just running to the next objective. There's apparently a way you can boost off the train too. I've not really figured that out yet. That blue sign there is what we're looking for. So there's air dash. What air dash is you hit the dash button while in midair and you don't run towards the ground instantly. You dash forward in midair for a time. Later in the run, we'll unlock double air dash, which is just the only way to fly, man. So next up is stealing from the enemy. This is every speedrunner's favorite and arguably every gamer's favorite. It's not an escort mission. It's not a protection mission. It's not an auto-scroller. It's all of those things. But this one we get to make a little interesting. Picked up that 1 lumen above the truck where it's parked in the alley here. And in a moment, we're going to basically play the truck is lava. You obviously don't want to use focus shots there because they slow down time. What? Oh, I got off the truck a little earlier than usual, I think. Yeah, if I had missed triple takedown where we ordinarily get it, this is my backup, trying to use these guys here. And even if I miss it there too, it wouldn't irrevocably kill the run. I'd most likely just get it semi-randomly at some point later on. Car blockade here, easily taken care of. You guys have any thoughts?
Well, the only thing that I can see here is it's an inaccurate representation of Seattle because there should be a lot more cars. And narrower streets.
There are a lot of genuine Seattle landmarks in the game. And it was made by Sucker Punch Productions, who are based in Seattle, or it's not Seattle per se, but it's like Bellevue or something. I think it is Bellevue, actually, now that I think of it. Which is, for all intents and purposes, Seattle. Okay, that truck, yeah, it's being mean. I'm gonna do this in focus because this is scary. If you take out one of those 2 trucks, the other won't follow you. And we need it to not follow us because we are not going to stay and defend Shane. We are gonna go get some lumens. These upgrade points are... That happened in the practice run, too. Upgrade points are more interesting than auto-scrollers. This is another case of world record home order Tsukuyomi introducing some of the strats he'd had for the 100% run. We used to just stand on the truck the whole time and just do the escort, and it was such a boring mission. There we go, that should be okay. Missed one lumen, but I'll end up getting more lumens than I actually need, so that's fine. Hey, Brenta is the audio cue to run forward.
Me va benissimo.
Ammettilo, in missione siamo una coppia fenomenale. Figurati come saremmo a letto.
Arma i tuoi uomini e mandali a cercare Brent, se non vuoi un buco
There we go. Yeah, the game wants you to stay on Shane's truck the whole way, but as you can see, we got a good distance away from it before the mission complete screen came up. Happy I did not fail that. I did this run at Harvey Relief Done Quick, the online event last fall, and I did fail the mission in that run, which sucked. All right, so we have a few little sniper situations here. They can be won with one shot.
No, lo proteggerò io e farò lo stesso con tutti gli uomini alla ricerca di Brent. Funzionerà.
You grab that little thing to the left to have like an endless supply of super powered neon bolts, but you really only need one. There's a trick here that it looks pretty cool, but it actually only saves about 2 seconds, and it's kind of easy to mess up too. So let's see. That should be good. You cast the singularity right as you enter. Yeah, got it. Right as you enter the fight, it will essentially skip the fight, but just like the first one, you can win that one with one shot, so it doesn't save a whole ton of time, but it does look pretty cool. Das Vidania, that's for killing 50 occurrence. We're going to set up here, and we will just be killing enemies down below for a little over a minute, so any donations?
Let's see. Got $35 from Kerbla. Says, who can say no to more Dishonored and more chops? Also, good luck, Allie.
Thanks.
Bloody Faster with $150. Good luck on the run, Allie. May RNGesus be on your side.
Thanks, Bloody. I try not to use focus shots here because they dilate time and because they don't detonate as large as non-focus shots. But they're not faster if you miss them. Alright. That was pretty cool. Come on, dude. There we go. And we've optimized most of the downtimes, the phone calls, with Lumen Collection. And this, almost missed that one. This is certainly one of the downtimes we have pretty well optimized.
Se lo troviamo sui video di sorveglianza possiamo seguirlo fino al luogo in cui tengono prigioniero.
A volte non sei così male, sai?
Vuoi dire che finalmente io farò il cowboy e tu il toro da cavalcare?
I tori sono maschi.
Ma sì, dai, ci siamo capiti.
Yeah, I'm not super good at remembering exactly where mission markers are. This one's pretty easy to remember, though.
Pronto?
Ciao, Beth. Io sono Jenny. Lavoro
So we're introduced here to the hacker girl, Jenny. She's someone who is coerced into working for Shane. And we're helping her pick up a lead on the rival gang. But, of course, we're going to collect some lumens first.
Ti hai detto di essere?
Lavoro per la città e a volte per Shane. I ID delle telecamere sono come codici QR. Puoi scansionarli con il telefono insieme ai risultati.
This mission contains a minor sequence break.
Il nostro software per il riconoscimento facciale è
So
qualcosa
did you call Jenny or did she call you?
Scansiona l'ID, esaminerò
She
il
called
video.
us. We don't have her number.
Eccolo lì.
Seguito. Useremo le telecamere per capire dove è andato. Mi spiace, ma non posso avviare una scansione globale. Farei scattare
Yeah, you're supposed to follow the cameras to follow the guy who was in the first one you saw there. If you did that directly, most direct path, you would discover a crime scene where he basically murders a guy. But we're gonna discover that camera after we discover the last one, which is this one, and we can't skip this little cutscene, unfortunately. But if you discover the one, well, we actually won't even scan the camera. We just discover the crime scene after finishing the mission. It skips the dialogue at the end of the mission and makes the marker for the next one spawn in just a little bit faster.
Aspetta, credo che abbia perso qualcosa. Ciao.
We have his phone.
Gianni, se avessi il
Here's
telefono
something
di
authentic to
quell'uomo,
Seattle.
potresti tracciare i
Little
suoi
rain.
spostamenti.
Certo, ma ci vorrebbe un po'.
Sembra quasi una scena di un film.
All right, coming up is the worst bit of, I want to call it RNG. It's probably not RNG, but the worst bit of nonsense in the run. It's time for terminal skip.
Quindi dovrei correre laggiù e sbaragliare quegli idioti in tutina, giusto?
I'll just say I've done this run in more than a dozen online marathons, and I have never once gotten terminal skip in a marathon. If I get it right now, I may just have a heart attack. That is how rare it is. And on top of that, we just don't understand how it works either. So sometimes you just get it, and sometimes you don't.
Non vedo nessuno dei tuoi.
I volani li hanno messi alle strette. Sono bloccati vicino al terminal dei traghetti.
Quanti idioti in tutta parete?
Parecchi. Perché? Puoi trasformarti di
So
nuovo
we
da
have this
quelli
phone call here from
vicino a
Shane
uno
introducing the fight at the ferry terminal down below us.
il
We
favore,
will
Jenny avrà
test the
violato quel
singularity
telefono
9-ish seconds after he shuts up. If it works, we will hear his voice on the phone right after the singularity detonates. It's probably not gonna work, but it might work. Nope. Just this one guy. If that one guy had gotten pulled into the singularity, it would have worked. The way the game figures out that this mission is done is if all the enemies below and the snipers above have been taken out. And if you still have enemies below when you take out a sniper, another sniper will spawn in. As many as 4 can spawn in, but if you know what you're doing, it really should never be more than 1. So I take out all of the enemies below and then the sniper, and then we'll hear the call. We would have heard from Shane if the skip had worked.
Tu pensa all'altro blu.
My PB actually doesn't even have that skip, so
Qualcosa di simile.
it's
Abbiamo rubato
a
quei
really finicky
Ho
one.
armato i miei uomini. Loro hanno iniziato a
Little
cercare
dialogue skip here by these
triangolati,
boxes.
ovviamente. Ora non mi diventerei.
There probably aren't too many Italian speakers in the audience, but you might have heard Shane kind of interrupt himself and start speaking 2 different sentences at the same time. And obviously it's more apparent in the English dialogue unless you are an Italian speaker, but
No, il DUP sta arrivando.
Satch and Shane are kind of having 3 different conversations at once right now.
Tu concentrati solo su me.
We have to clear out this fight around the iconic Seattle Space Needle, one of a handful of real-life locations in the game. That singularity will be used in just a moment, once all of the enemies spawn in. And it's very apparent when that is. Now these guys like to hide their weak points from you, but if you get behind them on the roof, they'll never shoot you. They sometimes turn and look at you, but they never shoot you. Okay, that's good. So these cars are the last enemies. When they pull up and open their doors, that's when we cast. And this should clear out the rest of the fight. And it did. Long phone call here that we can optimize with some Lumen Collection.
E massacrare. Mi dai i brividi.
Io voglio solo cercare il mio fratello. E no, non mi piace. Io e Brent non facciamo cose del genere.
Oh, certo. Vuoi che il caro Brent scopra come sei fatta davvero, giusto? La morte che è in te, il lato che adoro con tutto me stesso.
Se sono viva è solo grazie a te. Quando la gente vede cosa so fare, comincia a dare di matto. Non posso perdere anche me.
Beh, tuo fratello è ancora in circolazione perché tieni a freno la rabbia. Preparati a stringere i denti.
I've messed up that Lumen collection a lot in, even really good runs, so that was good to get it right that time.
Quando sei pronta, troviamoci davanti al Latte House di Madison. È ora di agire.
Shout out to Latte Owl.
There's also Cafe Conquistador, which has a very Starbucks-esque logo.
Ragazzi, siamo in fondo al parcheggio. Vieni, salta sopra.
So this is another combination escort mission / auto-scroller. Sadly, there's really nothing we can do to make this one more interesting. Although I will get my upgrades. What I got there was Neon Capacity, Double Cloudburst, and Rapid Fire. That's gonna hit me. Luckily, that doesn't really matter. Yeah, Rapid Fire basically turns your pistol into an SMG for your neon bolts. And if you heard Shane saying behind us, Il Pico, there are several Italian cognates in the Italian dubbing that just kind of make me chuckle every time I hear them. Viewers at home probably know more Italian than they ever thought they did.
Se continuiamo così, conquisteremo l'intera città.
His laugh.
Yeah. It's a pretty good one. The last car is scripted to take itself out. There's a tricky jump here to get one of the lumens on the docks. Let's see if I can get it. Yeah, I got it. Yeah, you have to do a photon jump off the handrail by the docks to be able to get that lumen and still get to this box without losing any time. It's perfectly doable, but it's very tricky. So we're looking for our brother Brent in these industrial boxes. Spoiler alert, he's not in any of them. And I don't know, Talix or Pepsi, do you want to tell them what happened in the practice run earlier today for this mission?
Yep, she got to go to where the next mission is and missed the box.
Yeah.
Got to come all the way back to the docks to get that box open.
It was a pretty nice meme. So Brent is phoning us saying he's at the monorail station and we're running that way to go rescue him. Spoiler alert, we're not going to rescue him. If you've played Infamous Second Son, you know, Brent's very existence is a bit of a spoiler alert for this game. Handy little arrow pointing the way. And here we are. So this cutscene is also unskippable. After this will come a comic book style cutscene. At one point we thought it was, oh by the way, Shane's a bad guy, big shocker. At one point we thought it was the comic book style cutscenes that are skippable by quitting out and reloading. Weirdly enough, it's actually when you have a cutscene that's followed by another cutscene, but not a cutscene followed by two cutscenes. When you have a cutscene followed by one cutscene, properly starting that first cutscene gives you an autosave at the beginning of the second one, which means you can quit out and reload and be at the beginning of the second cutscene, if that makes any sense at all. Yeah, we couldn't load one more time. Again, this is faster even on ordinary PS4, ordinary hard drive. Cutscene is like 45, 50 seconds long, and the load is like 20 seconds. And on a ordinary PS4, the load is like 40 seconds, so it's definitely a much smaller time save on an ordinary PS4, but it's still a perfectly free one. I tried to do my hair purple like Fetch. It didn't really turn out that well. We'll leave the job to a professional next time I want to do something like that. So this shows off our new power, which is Stasis Blast.
Non dai il massimo, Miss Walker.
Forse, mandane altri, vedrai il mio vero potenziale.
Now we have to stasis blast and hit their weak points. This can be extremely trolly, as the weak points are typically on the far end of their body. And if you miss any, you have to do them over, but I didn't miss any, so that's good.
Notevole. Perché non me l'hai
And for whatever reason, during this little bit of Augustine talking to you, you can't use Lightspeed Dash.
Vedrai i fuochi d'artificio.
Attenta a
I
cosa
think you can use Bolt. Yeah, you can.
Segui le linee gialle e resta al centro del corridoio.
Okay, welcome to Beta Arena. Beta Arena is where your PB pace runs come to
Non puoi
die.
andartene, le uscite sono chiuse.
To put it quite simply.
Ti sto permettendo di attaccare.
It's a pretty long arena.
Ma una sola condizione.
Yeah, it's pretty long and it's
Tu non mi
extremely
nasconda
RNG
nessuno dei
heavy.
tuoi poteri.
D'accordo. Per anni non ho fatto che fuggire da loro. Combatterli è più divertente.
Head to the middle. There's 3 introductory waves to take out. They're pretty small. And unlike other waves in the other arenas, these ones will simply spawn in on a timer. You don't have to clear the previous waves to get the next ones to spawn in. I used to cast a singularity there to take out all 3 waves at once, but that's slow. And now we have Turret Whisper. Hello, Fetch. Fetch's dominion over neon gas lets her override gun turrets. Because video games. I don't know.
Those turrets run on neon.
Yeah, of course. Turn back to the center to try to avoid bad turret spawns. And wow, what just happened? I'm not quite sure what just happened there, but anyway, that's second turret. You're only supposed to have to override 3 here to satisfy Turret Whisperer. I have, on occasion, and in my practice run earlier today, wound up having to do 4. So that's no bad turret spawns, which is nice. And that's Turret Whisperer. The bad turret spawn would be if it spawned up there. That's where we don't want it to spawn. A, because it is very far out of the way, and B, because the input to drain neon is the same as the input to override a turret, so you can accidentally drain when you're trying to override, and that just doesn't cost a lot of time, but it costs, you know, a little
Molti
time.
agenti del DUP erano come te. Conduit smarriti a cui serviva il mio aiuto per controllare i propri poteri.
So
Ma
again,
per essere
the waves will,
dovevano
roughly
servire.
speaking, spawn where you have the camera pointed. So there was a problematic spot a moment ago that I didn't want them to spawn on. That's fine.
And like last arena, you have 10 waves to get through this whole arena.
Yep. Yeah, sadly, the introductory 3 waves don't count towards your Hang 10 challenge. Smoke bombs render Fetch a blubbering mess, which is pretty annoying. It's not bad. So wave 5 here, I will cast a singularity here. You need a singularity for the strat in the mission in Seattle Free Roam that follows this one, but you get enough kills in wave 6 through 10 that you don't have to hoard the singularity that you have there. That's a good spawn for the wave 5 turret. I don't want that ammo crate next to the turret. Go away. Yeah, the turret can potentially spawn down here, which is really bad if that happens, because the turret can take out as many as 4 waves on its own if you get favorable spawns, and you really need it to take out at least 2 to get a halfway decent time here. So that's 2, that's good enough, and I actually will blow it up now to get rid of the 2. Oh, it didn't get rid of the 2 dudes that were standing next to it. So this guy's called a bishop. All the DUP enemies are named after chess pieces. The one that conjures the concrete around your ankles is the bishop. See, that would have been triple takedown there if I hadn't gotten it earlier in the run. And yeah, they're all named after chess pieces. In a moment here, we will meet a super pawn, which is the, I guess you could call it the boss of this arena challenge. And of course, the queen of the chessboard is Augustine herself, the voice we're hearing overhead. There's the big guy. That's not a great place for him to be. Oh, really don't want to die here, because if you die here, it sets you back to wave 6, which is an extremely large time loss, so we will be nice and safe and heal up. And get caught on something. I really should be clearing this before another turret spawns in, but what the heck, if it can help, it can help. Okay, I wiped out the big guy without him going into his little concrete cocoon. That's kind of nice. Sometimes you effectively have to kill the big guy twice, as he'll retreat into his little concrete cocoon, and if you don't approach him fast enough to one-shot him, you have to basically kill him again. Little force menuing here.
Oh, look, things.
Yeah, and this one here, the triangle input to bring up the PSN leaderboards for the Beta Arena. If you mash that one, if you do it too fast, you can potentially soft lock the game. So we're about 2 minutes off the pace of my PB, but my PB is well under the estimate, so we're probably in pretty good shape here.
La speranza di costringerlo a scendere a patti. La sua promessa era che se l'avessi aiutato, se avessi obbedito ai suoi ordini, avrebbe liberato Brent. Stava mentendo. E il DUP non mi dava tregua.
So there's more lumens we can grab here, but I actually don't need any because I have enough for the final upgrade, which is the aforementioned double air dash. A couple of quick donations.
Sure. Got $123.45 from, I apologize if I said this wrong, Alizaris. Says, EmeraldAly, you rock. I'm so proud of you. G-Cloning0529 with $50 says, good luck with the run, EmeraldAly. Any friend of Lobo's is a friend of mine. Donation for Breath of the Wild Master
Sarei
Mode.
felice di insegnare ai tuoi uomini qualche trucchetto per sfuggire al DUP.
Last one, the lady, last one here real quick. The Lady May, $35. Wanted to pitch in what I could during Ali's infamous run. So proud and happy for you. You're rocking it.
Thanks so much, May.
Ok, ma non dimenticare i miei ragazzi.
Ricevuto, capo. Ok,
Yeah, like I say, tough for me to find the absolute correct pixel for the mission markers. So pretty cool strat here. There's 3 cages with Shane's troops in them to open up, and you have to clear out this base too. So you open 1, you open 2. After you open 2, oh no, here comes a lot more guys. Well, we just so happen to have a singularity. So we turn around, shoot it off. I did once lose a PB run to shooting that singularity off into the cage behind me. It doesn't kill anyone when you do that. And while the singularity is in the air, you open 3, somebody survived. It's rare that somebody would survive. It's not unheard of. Minor nuisance.
Okay.
Yeah, Tex Anno, that's a joke that doesn't really translate into Italian. The line there is in English is, hey, Tex ass. Because Shane is from Texas. So our next mission is clear across town at the Science Center. Ah, oh, what happened there? I really don't need to be in any, extra special hurry to get over to the marker by the Science Center. You have plenty of time to get there before the mission marker spawns in.
Ho saputo che tuo fratello è in mano a Shane. Mi dispiace, ma lo conosco. Che sa di poterti usare, non lo lascerà mai andare.
Parli per esperienza personale.
Io voglio aiutarti, ma deve restare tra noi, ok? Vai nel cuore dello Science Center. Ti spiego
Cuore
tutto una
dello
volta.
Science Center. More great Italian. And one thing, if you have the game, go down to these dino statues down here. Check out the plaque in front of them. It's a funny little Easter egg that the devs put in.
E questo cos'è?
Sono le immagini
And it's also there in inFAMOUS Second Son.
Se vuole accedere all'intero sistema.
In Second Son, this area is originally one of the DUP strongholds, so you would have to clear it out first to get such a close look at something. But it's a pretty cute Easter egg. So we're heading to the next drone. They have these two DUP guys here. It's actually very important to take them out. This is where the next drone spawns in.
Costava un occhio, spero.
In effetti sì, sono gioiellini da 90.000
Yeah, at the Harvey Relief run, I ran completely past this point and wound up on a rooftop like 4 or 5 blocks away. It was nothing short of a miracle that I still managed to hit the drone right as it spawned in, because I have no experience chasing it down. And if I hadn't have found it right away, it would have cost me minutes and minutes. So here we are headed to what Jenny is telling us is the last neon drone, but hey, that's not a drone. A little bit of RNG here is how many DUP enemies you end up fighting on this rooftop. It can be either 2, 3, or 4, and we're getting the most common RNG, which is 3. Where's the third guy? Where'd he go? Hide and go decoy, don't you? So that was pretty average. Obviously, my gold split when I run against splits for that would be a fight with 2 enemies. But it can, even more rarely than 2, be 4. And 4 is a pain in the neck.
Mando le altre posizioni dei droni e potrei avere un indizio sul luogo in cui Shane tiene suo fratello.
Potrei, è più che abbastanza.
Shane sposta sempre i prigionieri, ma sono penetrata nel suo sistema.
Ok, sei ufficialmente perdonata per la storia dell'elicottero. Dimmi dove andare e vado.
Alright, so our next mission will have Jenny tracking down some shipping containers that she thinks Brent might be in. Spoiler alert, he's not in any of them.
Incluso mio
Would have
fratello.
never guessed that.
Ma non so in quale si trovi. Ne hanno allestiti 4, tutti ben sorvegliati. Quando comincerai a forzarli avrai solo qualche minuto prima che Shane lo scopra.
Quindi dovrò fare in fretta. Grazie.
Il primo container è vicino.
Primo container. It's another great bit of Italian.
E allora
So the idea behind this mission is you have to get to the next location before Shane's guards warn him, and you get a time bonus to your limit when you head through a neon cloud, but you don't actually need to head through the cloud to get the time bonus. You just need the effect of heading through a cloud. See, I go through a cloud bonus, but I jump, bonus, 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 just from air dashing.
Coscienza pulita. Perché?
Seems to me that that's probably not the way this is supposed to work, but it doesn't end up mattering. The time limits are pretty generous.
Jenny, perché tante partite?
I have, on occasion, just screwing around, tried to get this timer on the right side of the screen there as high as I can get it, and I have gotten it as high as 5 minutes.
Ti prego, Brent, fatti trovare nel prossimo container.
And it's very important in this mission that if any enemies surrender, like him, can't let him surrender, you gotta kill him.
Qui non c'è nessuno.
E allora prova con il prossimo, vai!
The way this is routed, with a 3 fight at the end of Surveillance Blackout, you get your next singularity with exactly how many kills you get in this mission. So if you had a 4 fight for Surveillance Blackout, I did kill 1 extra guy in Conduit Consequences, so I might be able to skip 1, but better not chance it. But anyway, normal routing, you would get your next singularity right at the absolute very end of this mission, and you need one for the mission after this one.
Forse stai per avere uno dei tuoi famosi attacchi di panico. È così? Puoi restare ferma lì a tremare con la foglia.
Ho i poliziotti alle calcagna, devo andare.
Yeah, the run from the run to this box is the one that's the longest distance against the shortest time, but even this one isn't that scary. I've failed it 1 time in the, many hundreds of times I've done this run.
Oh, ma che succede, Jenny? Qui non c'è nessuno.
Non lo so, ma ne manca solo uno. Deve essere. Sono entrata nel computer di Shane per scoprire dove si trovi tuo fratello, giusto? Mi sto esponendo a un
So this, by the way, is
gioco
the main
pensa solo a
movement
salvarmi.
tech for the game is jump dashing. You go through a cloud, you jump, and you dash. Nothing Fetch can do on her own is faster. It is faster to ride the monorail if you can. Oh, see, I did have one to spare, but hey, there's my one to spare. One is surrendering.
Jenny, è vuoto. Era una
So that was the
trappola.
last container. Surprise, surprise, Brent isn't in it. Now we're trying to
Temo che Jenny non potrà
get
rispondere.
Jenny's attention again, but
Non toccarla.
that's not Jenny we're hearing on the other end of the line.
Droni scomparsi. L'unica che conosceva il mio piano era Jenny. Dovevo scoprire se era ancora dalla mia parte o no.
No, davvero. Ho fatto tutto da sola.
There's Jenny.
Lei ha la mente. Tu sei
Press
soltanto
F to
una
pay
pistola
respects for
laser con i
Jenny.
capelli rosa.
Passamela.
Troppo tardi
Yeah.
che se n'è già andata.
And it's apparent in English, or if you do speak Italian, she just said put her on the phone while we're looking at her dead body. So that's a little,
Ora
gosh,
capisci,
little
ha già
cringe.
visto che cosa mi ha costretto a fare Jenny. Lei conosceva il prezzo da pagare per il suo tradimento. Ma tu?
Mio fratello. Ucciderai mio fratello.
Molto brava. A non lasciare che Jenny sia morta invano. Fai quello che ti dico quando te lo dico e risparmierò tuo fratello.
So coming up, this is the one load warp that is faster only on SSD. It saves about 2 seconds over just running from here to the next marker. Of course, you have to wait for it to spawn in, too.
Anzi, sai una cosa? Troviamoci sul Pioneer Building. Ci sono poliziotti da sistemare.
Okay, so... And I did not do that menuing very optimally, but I was just standing still the whole time, so whatever, it's just as well. We load warp about yay far and run the rest of the way. On a normal PS4 normal hard drive, you would want to just run for this marker from the end of the previous mission, because the load takes too long for it to be worth it. But on SSD, it's faster to load warp.
Ok, Shane. Sono qui.
Scusami, cara, ma ho avuto parecchio da fare. Prendi il telefono e vedrai. Il poliziotto che ho pagato mi ha fornito l'accesso alle telecamere. Questo è un
So our
filmato
mission here is to draw away the cops that are guarding the chief of police so that Shane can accost him and negotiate a deal for his gang. So we need to cause a ruckus in the city.
il suo nutrito entourage.
That's why we have the
Io non uccido
singularity.
le guardie per
What
farti
you
fare
do
i
is
tuoi
you shoot a
chiacchiere
car to
con
bring the
tuoni.
meter up,
Ti
thunder drop from the
distraggo
top of the
io.
building,
Basterà seminare un po' di scompiglio per
go to your
tirarmi
right
fuori.
and forward just a little, and then shoot it off. This should clear the full singularity bar.
Nel quel caso, tu e tuo fratello sarete liberi.
D'accordo.
Qualsiasi cosa tu abbia fatto continua. Gli agenti sembrano nervosi.
I'll blow up like one more car just to be
Il
safe.
capo della
Yep.
polizia sembra perplesso. Si sta chiedendo che fine ha fatto lo scorso. Credo che andrò a presentarmi. Ehi, vieni anche tu.
Yeah, if you ever manage to have the singularity completely fill up the destruction bar, it will actually skip Shane's line of dialogue there. It's irrelevant if it does, because the mission marker spawns in when that line of dialogue starts rather than when it ends. But hey, we're speedrunners, we like to skip things.
Tieni lontani i poliziotti, non voglio essere interrotto.
So now we have a little shooting gallery in this alley while Shane is talking to the chief of police. We have to keep the enemies off of him. Couple quick donations.
All right. I've got $35 here. I'm going to screw this one up here. New Vagenduft says, wish you good luck, Ali. The nice week for us all. Got $150 from _76. Good luck to all the runners on this awesome event. Put this towards Swordless and Luigi Sprite for the Link to the Past randomizer.
So again, you want to try to use non-focus shots here. But if even one enemy gets past you, it's mission failure. So I am playing it a little safe here with some of these focus shots. That might be too early for the singularity. I may have messed up. Yeah, I think it's supposed to take out more enemies than this. Yes, I did mess up. Alright, so we're just gonna play this super safe. Oh, I say as one almost slips past me. All right, good enough. That was very sloppy, but we didn't fail the mission. That's the important part.
Concederò al tuo capo lo stesso accordo degli Aculani, ma lascia in pace la mia città. Hai sentito?
So Shane is telling us he's negotiated a deal with the chief of police. We can go pick up our brother who's in a building just a few blocks away. Spoiler alert, he's not in there.
Sentito il pezzo grosso. Tu lasci la città e io sono a cavallo. È un trionfo per
I don't know if I like these spoilers.
Once the door's shut, I like to beat the hell out of these soda machines, because there's just not much else to do here. And the trash bin. The plant is surprisingly impervious to damage.
Tu non sei altro che un piccolo fastidio da eliminare.
Such a rebel.
Gas tossico! Che bastardo!
Tu che avresti fatto? Ucciderti con
Shane
una
has
pistola
pumped
super
poison
veloce
gas
così?
into the tunnel. And the reason I keep moving like this is because when I do runs at home, against splits, when I lose control of the character is when I split. So I'm just in the habit of running around like this. There's no true
Quando sentivo
purpose for
crescere
it.
il panico, mi concentravo su Brent. Era l'unico pensiero che potesse calmarmi. Mi aggrappavo ai bei ricordi.
Alright, so here comes our third cutscene skip.
Brent,
Basically, if you hear Fetch say a word, you've waited long enough. Oh, I didn't mention that. It's possible to do those skips too fast. And you not only don't skip the cutscene, you have to run back to the marker that spawns it and sit through anything that precedes it, like the sequence with the poison gas coming into the tunnel there. So certainly for a marathon, you want to make extra sure that you wait long enough.
Shane aveva
And if you
Brent.
hear Fetch say a word,
L'unico modo
you've
per
waited long
salvarlo era
enough.
trovare un accordo.
I actually have a pretty good visual cue for the first
Mi
one.
spiegheresti come
I
hai
haven't
fatto a
really
uscire da
developed
quella
one
galleria?
for the others.
Hai ottenuto un altro potere da quella allucinazione?
Ok, sì, te l'ho tenuto nascosto. Di nuovo. Ok, te lo mostro. Mandami qualche amichetto.
So here's our last new power, missiles.
Notevole. Ma perché me lo stai mostrando proprio ora?
Perché questo
Sometimes when we're listening to Augustine, I just want to wreck the place up.
Dammi un avversario più forte.
Come vuoi, Miss Walker. Segui le linee gialle e resta al centro del corridoio.
That's it. So this is Gamma Arena. This is by far the easiest of the three arenas.
Sembri
And
tormentata da
in
diversi
my
demoni.
PB run that I had a little over a week ago, this is the only one of the three arenas that I did badly at. So, yeah. What you want to do is come to the middle and basically just have things come to you. That's certainly faster than chasing them around the arena. We have these skeleton demons. They are impervious to normal bolts, but basically anything else you can do can kill them. And in the English dialogue, I do love Augustine's line that introduces Gamma Arena. She says that the conduit who creates the combat holograms is obsessed with a video game about demons. It's Eugene, if you know him from Infamous Second Son. And I always love that line because I have some friends who speedrun the game Demon Souls, and it always makes me think of them. Shoutouts to Squarewave and Luna Argentius if they're watching, and even if they're not. So yeah, Stasis Blast plus Bolt will kill the skeleton demons quite nicely. This is kind of bad.
Queste creature non sono reali, ma il piacere che trai dalla loro morte lo è.
Spawner, please.
Focalizza il tuo per diventare più forte.
Yeah. This is what the spawner spawns, annoying little spiders.
La cena è pronta.
Bene, la collera è uno strumento con cui controllare la realtà circostante.
But yeah, Stasis Blast plus Bolt will still kill the skeleton demons. So will missiles, so will melee finishers if we had them. We don't get that upgrade in the speedrun routes. Basically anything but normal Bolt. Yeah, see, that was a pretty poor Gamma, and you could still see that it didn't take that long.
Vedo che ti stai divertendo. Asseconda questa sensazione e libera il tuo potenziale.
No force menuing here, just one input to
Hai
advance
visto? Sei
forward.
brava quando vuoi. C'è un futuro per i conduit capaci di lasciarsi il passato alle
Next up is
spalle.
drug trucks.
Ora dimmi come va
Mission
a
where
finire
we
la tua
chase
storia.
down some of the moving trucks that Shane has loaded with his drug merchandise and
Shane mi
take them
voleva
out of
morta.
commission.
Mi restava un'unica opzione, passare al
This mission's
contrattacco.
pretty RNG heavy too, but we have a
Purtroppo
cool
non
way of
sapevo
dealing
dove
with
fosse
it.
lui, o tantomeno mio
Except for the world
fratello.
record holder, Tsukuyomi, he just runs straight at the trucks because he's a freaking magician.
Me lo auguro. Spariamole qualche altro colpo. Così, per stare tranquilli.
Dov'è Brent?
These guys die in one hit. Why can't they all?
Dovranno pur parlarsi in qualche modo. No, un auricolare. E della mia misura.
So there's 6 trucks. First one's always in the same place. Last one's always in the same place. We have to ping this video dish to make the trucks appear. We have to ping it before we can take out this first truck, even though it's just right there. Also fetches neon power, giving her control over video dishes. Video game logic. Land here, cast a singularity to take everybody out. It's possible to not take out the sniper behind me. Sometimes when I have that, yeah, see, there's the sniper sight. He doesn't count though. You don't have to take him out to satisfy this objective.
Now we graffiti trucks.
Yep. And we load autosaves. What loading the autosave does is reset the positions of the trucks, and it also gives you back your singularity, missiles, and if we had them, melee finishers. By loading the autosave, that truck is always very close by. It's so close that you don't even have to ping the dish. You just do a normal ping, and it's in range. Knock on the door, take him out. One stasis blast is enough to destroy the drugs in the back of the truck. That's a strat that was found by a runner named Lydia long before I ran the game. She actually messaged me earlier today. Probably angling for a shout out. Nothing wrong with that. I do the same. So, hi Lydia, thanks for that strat. And I should, you know, do all my other shout outs while I'm at it, I suppose. Mr. Sanju, Tomaine, Spider Sponge 87, SS Bane, everybody else in the infamous community, and certainly the Wolfpack community, but we've heard a lot from them from donation comments, which is great. Knock on the door. For these next two, we will use the missiles.
Non hai più nulla e dico nulla che ti protegga da me. Non puoi torcergli neanche un capello.
Continua a distruggere.
And apparently tagging the truck with neon graffiti makes it useless. I don't know.
Sarà facile.
And there's the next truck. I don't know, maybe I look like a freaking magician running straight at the trucks this way, but this is only after I reset them with that quit and load. Or not a quit and load, but an autosave load. If you do that just right, you can take out the merchandise and the enemies with one missile blast. DUP ambush here, good thing we have a singularity.
Facciami il culo.
Oh.
Ah.
Sorry, didn't hear that.
Yeah.
Isn't that great?
What did you do?
I saw it go off of this screen once before and nobody panicked, so I didn't know it was something bad this time. I'll get all my sniffling done when I'm not being heard by 200,000 people. I just have the tiniest little sniffle. I feel fine. Oh no, can't submit this run for the leaderboard.
This song's kind of ominous for the stream being down, too.
Yeah.
How's my pal Pepsi doing?
Pretty good, man.
Feels pretty good, man.
Some good bass.
I wonder if all my shout-outs made it out. Don't want anybody to be mad at me.
At least you can remember names.
Well, unless I forgot one.
Oh yeah, that's true. Darn, there's just a slight loophole to my logic there. I don't know how those instruments work.
Doing good, bud.
I thought Georgetown was more south. Could be wrong.
Well, I mean...
Actually, I'm not really sure how the map is laid out here.
Are any of these right?
Ah, there we go. All right.
All right. Yes. Yay! We're back. Okay, 3, 2, 1, go. So we had a DUP ambush by this last truck. I cast the Singularity to hopefully take everyone out, and it didn't quite work. A couple of guys were left over. That's somewhat rare that happens. Rarely you can actually, the game will let you tag the truck while there's still enemies aggroed to you. I don't know why that happens, or why it even would happen. So after the 4th truck, we will load the autosave again. This will send us back to the original position. This one is more just to get our Singularity and missiles back, because we'll see when we ping the video dish that the last truck is clear across town. So hopefully I can find it without having to ping a dish again.
Andiamo, è solo una ragazza, una ragazza!
Hey, there we go.
Mandate qui quella stronza, la facciamo fuori.
not too bad. So it's important to attack this one from distance at first because they throw smoke bombs out the back, but you can still take them out with one well-timed missile salvo. Fortunately, mine wasn't that well-timed. But that's fine. Oh, and shout out as well to D-Pad Gamer, who used to run some of the infamous games. And I also just wanted to give a very general shout out to all the speedrunners I watch on Twitch as a viewer. There's way too many just to name, but, you know, you guys keep me going.
Oh, ciao, sto cercando della droga. Ah, oops, tu non l'hai più.
So the stick truck is always in the same place, but I really have a hard time finding my way to specific locations. Even in real life, I have a hard time with it. So it's certainly less of a time loss for me to open the map, waste a second to drop a dot, and know exactly where I'm going, than to either ping a dish or run around aimlessly. Casting the singularity here will take out enemies on the rooftops around this little encounter. Oh, that was interesting. That guy died when he fell down. It won't kill everyone, and even if it did, there's still calls for reinforcements. So as you near the end of this fight encounter, there's bound to be enemies on the outskirts of the area. It's because the game apparently expects you to fight your way in, which is a little crazy. Even in like a casual playthrough setting, it's pretty crazy because you have the power to run up walls. So why would you fight your way in? I don't think I ever have. That can't be everybody. Yeah, see, there's one last dude over here. But that was actually a pretty decent fight.
So we're gonna tag this truck.
Yeah, this is good. The button prompt is tag the truck. It's also a small problem that we don't have a singularity here, but it's only a small one.
Also, this is a really big truck.
Not even lying, this neon graffiti is one of the hardest things to do in the run. You do it with the 6-axis motion controls, the DualShock 4 controller. And yeah, we just tagged the truck. Isn't that great? Tag the truck.
Building, truck, same thing.
Video game logic.
Yeah.
Hai chiamato I tuoi camion, Shane? Qualche risposta?
Tomato, tomato, potato, race car.
Una persona sola può considerarsi una banda.
So Shane is calling us to taunt us into a final encounter with him at the crocodile. That's where we're headed. Spoiler alert, we will not have a final encounter with him here.
Oh, un appuntamento.
So we head inside. Shane has a little surprise for us. Interesting to note that in the sequence that follows here, you don't have a HUD, but everything still works the same as if you did. So we want a singularity. You'll know you could get one by the sound effect that plays when you rack one up.
Shane, vieni fuori.
guess
Pensi
that was
che
2
drogarmi
kills.
possa tenermi lontano da Brent?
Yep, there's the singularity. So what I'm going to do now is change the difficulty to expert, cast the singularity, and then just let them kill me. This encounter can go on for minutes and minutes. I think it will eventually just terminate itself, but if you can get killed, you know, this might be a little too fast for being killed, but if you can get killed with the right timing, it'll send you forward without having to wait out the mission. This should be fine. Come on, guys, kill me. Yeah, there we go. Before we had the idea to shift the difficulty to expert there and we were still playing on easy, at that point, you would just heal so fast, even if you're just standing there trying to be killed. It was, you know, just the silliest way to lose time. And it is still pretty RNG heavy how fast they'll kill you, but it's certainly faster on expert than on easy. And you do leave the difficulty on expert for the final mission, but it doesn't have any effect on it. Final mission is just running. And where is it? There it is. They should spawn right in front of you. These are like Fetch's fractured memories that you're running through. And they should spawn directly in front of you, but they don't always.
Ero solo una bambina.
Yeah, this is Fetch's memory of when she first manifested powers, and her parents called the DEP, the government agency tracking down and imprisoning people with powers. And that's what led Fetch and Brent to start their life on their own. Now we'll see these little phantoms running around this tunnel as we try to get closer to the skeleton demon man up front there. You don't want to shoot them until they grab you, because if you do, you'll dispel them, and there's no getting through this until you've done that to 4 of them.
Dove diavolo è?
And that was Fetch killing Brent, but we can actually skip that cutscene, so hold off on the Bible thumps. That cutscene skip was the last one to be discovered because it kind of breaks the rules. I touched on this a little earlier. It kind of breaks the rules of how we understood the cutscene skips work, because that's a motion capture cutscene. It's not a comic book cutscene, so we didn't used to think that one was skippable this way. And that cutscene is so long. All it is Fetch discovering what she's done, Brent forgiving her with his dying words, and the camera fading out from them. But the cutscene is over a minute long, and it takes about 20 seconds to quit out and load. So it's a crazy time save.
A prendere Brent. È colpa sua se alla fine hai perso il controllo. Se tu potessi, lo uccideresti? Allora fallo.
And Augustine has a little present for us.
Fammi un favore, piccolo. Potresti dire a questa bambola che sono un uomo assolutamente normale.
Conosco la tua storia.
Parola di scout.
Ma dovevi ripercorrerla per tornare al momento in cui ti sei arresa.
Maledizione, non sono uno di quei vostri.
Oh. I was gonna do this during the cutscene skip. Oh, I forgot. Think one of you guys can handle it? Gotta get the speedrun selfie.
Yeah, let's do this. Oh, that is the wrong way. There we go.
That's a good one.
All right.
Thanks. I guess I still had time to do that myself. As I say, these cutscenes are longer than you think they are. So yeah, you can really do donations all throughout this final chase here. All it is me running to the end of the game.
Alrighty. I got $150 from Nove. Hey, AGDQ, wanted to get my donation in before I inevitably forgot because of work. It's a great thing you do every year, and I want to thank the announcers, tech crew, and the runners for taking the time to put it together. Break a leg, runners? No, that'd be bad. Just good luck then. Crownless with a $50 donation. What's up, AGDQ? Long-time watcher, first-time donator. Glad to see such a good cause involving one of my favorite hobbies. Want to make a special shout-out to EmeraldAly and Claris. Keep up the good work. Hope everyone has a great GDQ. And I've got $20 from Sydney, like Australia. I've honestly never played any game, but Allie's making it super fun. You're killing it, girl. Donation to Runner's Choice.
Thanks. Yeah, my runner's choice was the Hollow Knight incentive, because I know a lot of people I know love that game. I just picked it up on one of the recent Steam sales, so I haven't played it myself yet, but I know a lot of people will be happy if that one gets met.
Just a quick update about the Hollow Knight incentive. We are just over $300 short for that. We're getting really close. We do have the Skyrim run between now and then, so make sure you get those donations in. We can get that met.
So that rope crossing over the pit there, it was quite some time ago, back when I was still kind of more or less learning the run, but I did have a sub 90 PB at the time. I had a PB run. It actually still wound up being a PB, and I fell in that pit 4 times. It was pretty unbelievable. And coming up, there's the possibility of one of 2 extremely rare glitches that it just hurts the soul to get them, because if you're grinding for runs, you would never get this far unless you're pretty sure you're on a PB run, because this mission isn't an it's not really strictly speaking a mission anyway. This isn't an auto-scroller, but it's kind of like one in the sense that this takes as long as it takes. This takes about 10 minutes. So if you have any unexpected time loss in that 10 minutes, it really, really stings the soul. Those fast ladder climbs are, I don't know what else to say about them. They are fast ladder climbs. You angle the camera up above the ladder, and you can jump up the ladder. Ordinarily, that's not something Fetch can do when she's not powered up in her powered up state. She would just sink further down the ladder if you try that. And you may have seen the mission marker at the end of that bridge there. If you walk to that F, you get a little cutscene of the bridge collapsing beneath Fetch's feet, and you wind up down below. But if you just jump off yourself, you not only get down there faster, but you skip that little cutscene, so it saves a few seconds. So the 2 rare glitches involve this drone. It's supposed to crash in a couple seconds here. Okay, that's one glitch averted. Sometimes it doesn't crash. Then you drain it, and sometimes the game will think you didn't actually drain it. Both of those, there's nothing you can do. You have to just get a mission failure, reload the checkpoint. And, okay, avoided them both, so that's nice. Now we get the Unleashed Singularity. At this point in the game, Fetch's Unleashed powers are unleashed. This is the only time you use one in the campaign, unless you actually fight these enemies on the way to the final marker. I never have, not even in my casual first playthrough. I just ran past them. But you are able to use the Unleashed powers in arena challenges after you complete the game. And they really help getting the top scores. Not that I have a top score, but the scores necessary for the challenges. See where those trucks are going, it's actually possible to get up there. It's actually not even hard to get up there yourself and clip out of bounds and run to the end of the game. Sadly, doing that, you cannot load in the actual ending of the game. This game, and actually all the Infamous games are like this, it's very trigger heavy. So if you skip any of the triggers, any of these F markers on the mini-map, the literal ending of the game will not spawn in. Which is a real shame, because that out of bounds is so cool. It's just so useless. It does reveal a few interesting things if you skip loading triggers, because, yeah, those triggers also load things in. These rocks that are falling have no collision. If you skip the trigger that would make them fall down, you'll find that there's an invisible wall there with exactly the same gap as the gap in the rocks. That's one of the things you can find by, and I'm not doing any jump dashing, which is not good, because that's what you need to do to move faster. Yeah, we did a lot of testing with the out of bounds. You can also go out of bounds here, because it would sure be nice to skip this cutscene. It doesn't look like much happens in this cutscene, but this is close to a minute long. And if we could just run past this, that would obviously be nice. Oh no, more enemies. Good thing we can just run past them.
Just a really quick shout out. The Hollow Knight incentive has been met. Get a $343.37 donation from Anonymous that said 4 Hollow Knights. So we have met that. We will see the Invisible Hornet fight.
Another thing that skipping loading triggers reveals is that these footprints and the blood on the ground are there the whole time. They are not as a result of Shane actually traipsing through here. Although you can see him moving before you trigger this final cutscene. And do be prepared on time. It's coming up in roughly 1 minute. Maybe a little less than 1 minute now.
Andiamo, piccola. Parliamone. Troviamo una soluzione.
So Shane is asking Fetch for mercy. And she's not going to give it to him. One thing I did also mean to point out about the languages, I'm playing on a European version of the game. You need a European version of the game to access the Italian dubbing. But if you have a North American version of the game and you want to go fast, you can access, if you set your console to Latin American Spanish, that's actually how you change the dubbing, is you change the system language for your PS4 console. If you set it to Latin American Spanish, the North American version can access the Spanish dubbing, which is nearly as fast as Italian.
Non l'ho ucciso io. Sei stata tu.
And time. That's pretty okay time. Yeah, so that's Infamous First Light. Thanks everybody for watching and donating. I hope you really enjoyed it. It's a great game for speedrunning. It's obviously all about going fast, even in a casual playthrough. And if anybody saw it and thought, you know, hey, I'd love to run that myself, you know, join up our Discord. We got lots of people who can help, and you know, it's a really great run. I hope more people join. And thanks to the two of you for hanging out with me.
You're welcome.
Thanks a lot.
All right, guys, we're gonna throw it over for a quick Twitch ad.